Good morning everyone. Basa tayo ng Bible. Mark 10 verse 32 to 52 and Deuteronomy 3 and 4. 3 and 4 nang babasahin natin. Mark 10 verse 32. Jesus predict his death the third time. Nabasa na rin natin ito sa Matthew, guys. They were on their way to Jerusalem with Jesus leading the way, and the disciples were astonished while those who followed were afraid. Again he took the 12 aside and told them what was going to happen to him. We are going up to Jerusalem, he said, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death and will hand him over to the Gentiles, who will mock him and spit on him, flog him, and kill him. 3 days later, he will rise. Jesus teaches about serving others. Then James and John, the son of Zebedee, came to him. Teacher, they said, we want you to do for us whatever we ask. What do you want me to do for you? He asked. They replied, let one of us sit at your right hand and other at your left in your glory. You don't know what you are asking, Jesus said. Can you drink the cup I drink, or be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with? You can, they answered. Jesus said to them, you will drink the cup I drink and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared. Sabi naman dati ni Peter, ano daw, ano ba yun? Ay, gagawa ng yung kay Elijah, isa kay Moses, at isa para kay Jesus. When the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. Jesus called them together and said, you know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to serve, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus helps a blind beggar. Then they came to Jericho as Jesus. Yung Jericho, guys, panahon din nila Moses, diba? Popular din tong Jericho na to eh. Yung place na Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples, kasi nasa ano yun, guys, diba? Nasa conquest ng Canaan ba yun? As Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, that is the son of Timaeus. I don't know, guys, how to say it. Basta, his spelling is Timaeus. Was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus stopped and said, call him. So they called to the blind man, Cheer up, on your feet, he's calling you. Throwing his cloak aside, he jumped to his feet and came to Jesus. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked him. The blind man said, Rabbi, I want to see. Go, said Jesus. Your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. So yun, okay na siya, guys. Lipat na tayo sa anihin ko na lang to. Yung verse 52. Your faith has healed you. Kaya manampalataya lang, guys. Gagaling rin yung COVID-19 na yan. Deuteronomy Check ko lang ulit. 3 and 4. Pang ano na natin guys, pang March 7, 2021. Konti na lang. Matatapos din natin. Ako pala. Ang tiyaga ko talaga magbasa. Kahapon nga, naka 99 chapter na ako sa ano eh. Doon sa binabasa kong novel. Mas gusto ko talaga magbasa. Kaya yung mata ko din sisira. Deuteronomy 3 and 4. Defeat of Og, king of Bashan. Next we turned and went up along the road toward Bashan, and Og, king of Bashan, with his whole army marched out to meet us in battle of Edrei. The Lord said to me, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you with his whole army, with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon." So the Lord our God also gave into our hands Og, king of Bashan, and all his army. We struck them down, leaving no survivors. Pero Moses, bawal pumatay. Pero ito, giyera ito. Mas maraming pinapatay. At the time we took all his cities, there was not one of the 60 cities that we did not take from them. The whole region of Argob, Og's kingdom in Bashan. All the cities were fortified with high walls. Pero may mga walls pala nung araw guys. And with gates and bars. And there were also a great many unwalled villages. Pero mo yung mga ano dati no, ang titibay. May mga walls na so, ibig sabihin talaga nung araw guys, mayayaman talaga yung mga tao. Kasi pinag-uusapan nito mga ginto, mga ano, yung mga offering nila. We completely destroyed them as we had done with Sihon, king of Heshbon, destroying every city, men, women, and children. Kawawa naman kasi yung mga dinatnan nyo doon. Ginigir. But all the livestock and the plunder from their cities were carried off for ourselves. So at that time we took from these two kings of the Amorites, sa verse 8 guys. So at that time we took from these two kings of the Amorites the territory east of the Jordan, from the Arnon Gorge as far as Mount Hermon. Hermon is called Sirion by the Sidonians. The Amorites called it Sinner. We took all the towns on the plateau, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, as far as Salika and Edrei, towns of Og's kingdom in Bashan. Only Og, king of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephates. His bed was made of iron and was His bed was made of iron and was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It is still in Rabbah of the Ammonites. Yung Amorite tsaka Ammonites, magkaiba ba? Siyempre magkaiba sa spelling pa lang. Tinatanong. Ay. hindi syempre natin kabisado yung mga lugar na to, guys. Kaya, unang-una ngayon lang tayo nagbasa nito. Paano natin makakabisado? Division of the land. Of the land that we took over at that time. Tsaka unang-una, hindi rin natin to bansa. Yung mga tinatalakay dito sa Bible for Israel. Hindi nga tayo nakatapak doon. Division of the land. Of the land that we took over at that time, I gave the Reubenites and the Gadites the territory north to Aroer by the Arnon Gorge, including half the hill country of Gilead together with its towns. The rest of Gilead and also all of Bashan, the kingdom of Og, I gave to the half-tribe of Manasseh. Kaya pala dalawang portion yung kay Manasseh, yung half. Pero malawak kaya. The whole region of Argob in Bashan used to be known as a land of the Rephaites. Jer, descendant of Manasseh, took the whole region of Argob as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maacathites. It was named after him, so that to this day Bashan is called Habot-Jer. And I gave Gilead to Machir, but to the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave the territory extending from Gilead down to the Arnon Gorge, the middle of the gorge being the border, and out to the Jabbok River, which is the border of the Ammonites. Its western border was the Jordan in the Arabah, from Kinnereth to the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, below the slopes of Pisgah. I commanded you at that time, the Lord your God has given you this land to take possession. To give you this land, may mga nakatira nga doon, ginira lang. Ano kasi guys, parang ang pagkaintindi ko tuloy, nangaagaw sila ng kalupaan. Pero sabi, bigay nga ito ni Father God. Kasi kawawa naman yung mga nadat na nila doon, pinapatay nila, di ba? Kasi gera. Ginera nila. Pero sabi, utos ni Father God. Kasi bigay sa kanila yung land. Pero kawawa naman yung mga napapatay. Pag lupa talaga pinag-uusapan, no? kahit patayan, sige lang, basta makakuha lang yung lupa. Reaction ko lang yun, ha. Kasi binabasa na lang naman natin itong mga nakaraan na nila to, eh. I commanded you at that time, the Lord your God has given you this land to take possession of it. But all your able-bodied men. Paano kung sa bagay wala nang natira, diba? No survivor na nga. Pero paano kung mayroong mga kamag-anak yun at babawiin na naman sa Israel? So yun, walang katapusang gera. I commanded you at that time, the Lord your God has given you this land to take possession of it, but all your able-bodied men, armed for battle, must cross over ahead of your brother Israelites. However, your wives, your children, and your livestock, I know you have much livestock. Kaya nga nakapagtataka Father God talaga itong story ng Israel. Napakaraming livestock, pero reklamo ng reklamo, wala silang pagkain doon sa Mana, guys. Tsaka parang imagine niyo na lang, karay-karay nila yung livestock nila, guys. Nagjo-journey sila, nagta-travel sila. Parang ang hirap-hirap. Wala silang sariling the time nung naglalakbay sila, wala silang sariling place. May stay in the towns I have given you until the Lord gives rest to your brothers as he has to you. And the two have taken over the land that the Lord your God is giving them across the Jordan. After that, each of you may go back to the possession I have given you. Moses forbidden to cross the Jordan. At that time I commanded Joshua, you have seen with your own eyes all that the Lord your God has done to these two kings. The Lord will do the same to all the kingdoms over there where you are going. Do not be afraid of them, the Lord your God himself will fight for you. Tsaka, imagine niyo guys, nung bang naglalakbay sila, marami na silang gamit pang giyera. Kasi parang, hindi mo naman basta-basta malulusob ang isang bansa kung wala kang weapons, di ba? So, how come na, syempre, iuutos sa kanila ni Father God, kailangan meron din sila mga sword or what. Sabi nga, nasa tao ang gawa, nasa Diyos ang awa. So, si Father God, basta, yun na yun. Ini-imagine ko lang talaga paano sila naglalakbay ng maraming karay-karay. At the time, syempre, story itong binabasa natin. So, yun lang talaga yung reaction ko. Do not be afraid, sa verse 22 guys. Do not be afraid of them, the Lord your God himself will fight for you. At the time I pleaded with the Lord, O sovereign Lord, you have begun to show to your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can do the deeds and mighty works you do? Let me go over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, that fine hill country and Lebanon. But because of you, the Lord was angry with me and would not listen to me. That is enough, the Lord said. Do not speak to me anymore about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah and look west and north and south and east. Look at the land with your own eyes, since you are not going to cross the Jordan. But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will lead these people across and will cause them to inherit the land that you will see. So we stayed in the valley near Beth Peor. Obedience commanded. Sa chapter 4 na tayo. Hear now, O Israel, the decrees and laws I am about to teach you. Follow them so that you may live and may anuhin na natin to guys. May commandments na naman. Obedience commanded. Hear now, O Israel, the decrees and laws I am about to teach you. Follow them so that you may live and may go in and take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to what I command you, and do not subtract from it, but keep the commands of the Lord your God that I give you. Huwag daw bawasan, huwag daw dagdagan yung commandments niya. Yung mga inuutos niya. You saw with your own eyes what the Lord did at Baal Peor. The Lord your God destroyed from among you everyone who followed the Baal of Peor, but all of you who held fast to the Lord your God are still alive today. Say, I have taught you decrees and laws as the Lord my God commanded me, so that you may follow them in the land you are entering to take possession of it. Observe them carefully, for this will show your wisdom and understanding to the nations, who will hear about all these decrees and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. What other nation is so great as to have their gods near them the way the Lord our God is near us whenever we pray to Him? So, ibig sabihin magkaiba ng God noong araw. Iba-iba ang God ng bawat nation. Yung sa Israel lang talaga kakaiba. Inaano sila ni Father God. Basta ginagabayan sila ng husto hanggang sa manalo sa giyera. Paano yan kung pareho kayo ng God na sinasamba? So, kung sino na lang yung papakinggan ni Father God, yun ang mananalo. Is that like that? God is near us whenever we pray to Him. And what other nation is so great as to have such righteous decrees and laws as this body of laws I am setting before you today? Only be careful and watch yourself closely so that you do not and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen or let them slip from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, when he said to me, assemble the people before me to hear my words so that they may learn to revere me as long as they live in the land and me teach them to their children. You, you came there and stood at the foot of the mountain while it blazed with fire, to the very heavens with black clouds and deep darkness. Then the Lord spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of words but saw no form. There was only a voice. He declared to you his covenant, the 10 Commandments, which he commanded you to follow, and then wrote them onto stone tablets. Ito yung, pero 2 times kaya siyang kasi yung unang tablets nabasa guys, diba? So, kung 40 days and 40 nights nung una, tapos another 40 days and 40 nights naman nung pangalawang tablets. Grabe, ang tagal, 80. And the Lord directed me at the time to teach you the decrees and laws you are to follow in the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. Idolatry forbidden. Use no form of any kind the day to the Lord. Sa verse 15 guys. Use no form of any kind the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the fire. Therefore watch yourselves very carefully so that you do not become corrupt, and make for yourselves an idol, an image of any shape, whether formed like a man or a woman or like any animal on earth. Pero kasi naalala nyo guys, yung mga ginto nila, linagay na sa fire, nag-form siya ng cow ba yun? Kaya yun ang ina-idol nila. Doon nagalit si Moses kaya nabasag yung tablets. Nung pagbalik nila Joshua tsaka ni Moses. Diba ang saya-saya? Tapos, makita nila yung idol pala nila na ang gawa sa ginto yun eh. Kasi, nung hinagis yung mga ginto nila doon, nag-form siya ng cow. Or any bird that flies in the air. Or like any creature that moves along the ground or any fish in the waters below. And when you look up to the sky and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the heavenly array, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshiping things the Lord your God has apportioned to all the nations under heaven. But as for you, the Lord took you and brought you out of the iron smelting furnace out of Egypt to be the people of his inheritance as you now are. Kaya nga, Father God, tanong ko, sino ba God ng Egypt? Sino ba ang God ng Egypt? Bakit hindi sila kasali sa God ng Israel? The Lord was angry with me because of you, and he solemnly swore that I would not cross the Jordan and enter the good land the Lord your God is giving you as your inheritance. Kawawa naman si Moses. Siya yung naghirap siya pa yung I will die in this land. I will not cross the Jordan, but you are about to cross over and take possession of that good land. Be careful not to forget the covenant of the Lord your God that he made with you. Do not make for yourselves an idol in the form of anything the Lord your God has forbidden. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. After you have had children and grandchildren, maandar na yun dyan ko, hinto na tayo. Have grandchildren and have lived in the land a long time, if you then become corrupt and make any kind of idol doing evil in the eyes of the Lord your God and provoking him to anger, I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you this day that you will quickly perish from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You will not live there long, but will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and only a few of you will survive among the nations to which the Lord will drive you. There you will worship man-made gods, of wood and stone, which cannot see or hear or eat or smell. But if from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find him. If you look for him with all your heart and with all your soul. Verse 29. But If from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find Him, if you look for Him with all your heart and with all your soul. Gawin natin description here, guys. Although para sa Israelites lang yan. Kasali na rin tayo, makikisali tayo. When you are in distress and all these things have happened to you, then in latter days you will return to the Lord your God and obey Him. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you or forget the covenant with your forefathers. Ano, nag-rebelde nga lagi yung iba, ang dami pinatay, naalala niyo yun? Yung ayaw, yung inutusan niyang umakyat doon sa papuntang Canaan. Which he confirmed to them by oath. Daming conflict, oh. At saka ang lupit kayo ng parusa niya nung araw, puro kamatayan talaga, guys. The Lord is God. As now about the former days, long before your time, from the day God created man on the earth, as from one end of the heavens to the earth, has anything so great as this ever happened, or has anything like it ever been heard of? Even be, ano ba? Like it ever been heard of? Has any other people heard the voice of God speaking out of fire as you have and live? O nga. Tsaka bakit puro sa fire si Father God nagsasalita? Has any God ever tried to take for himself one nation out of another nation by testing by miraculous signs and wonders, by war, by a mighty hand, and outstretched arm, or by great and awesome deeds like all the things the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your very eyes? You were shown these things so that you might know that the Lord is God. Besides Him, there is no other. Yep. From heaven He made you hear His voice to discipline you. On earth He showed you His great fire, and you heard His words. From heaven He made... Sa 36, guys. From heaven He made you hear His voice to discipline you. On earth He showed you His great fire, and you heard His words from out of the fire. Because He loved your forefathers and chose their descendants after them, He brought you out of Egypt by His presence and His great strength, to drive out before you nations greater and stronger than you, and to bring you into their land, to give it to you for your inheritance as it is today. Acknowledge and take to heart this day that the Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below. There is no other. Itong 39, maganda rin, guys. Give these decrees and commands which I am giving you today, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may live long in the land the Lord your God gives you for all time. Cities of refuge. Then Moses set aside 3 cities east of the Jordan, to which anyone who had killed a person could flee if he had unintentionally killed his neighbor without malice aforethought. He could flee into one of these cities and save his life. The cities were this: Bezer in the desert plateau, for the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead, for the Gadites, and Galad in Bashan, for the Manassites. Verse 44, guys. Introduction to the law. This is the law Moses set before the Israelites. These are the stipulations, decrees, and laws Moses gave them when they came out of Egypt. Were in the valley near Beth Peor, east of the Jordan, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, and was defeated by Moses and the Israelites as they came out of Egypt. They took possession of his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, the two Amorite king east of the Jordan. Kaya nga lagi ko sinasabi, kawawa naman yung mga napatay nila sa gera. Para lang sila makaano doon, wala na. Pinalitan na nila yung mga dating nakatira doon. This land extended from Aroer and on the rim of the Arnon Gorge to Mount Sion, that is Hermon, and included all the Arabah east of the Jordan as far as the Sea of the Arabah below the slopes of Pisgah. Okay, guys, bukas chapter 5 na tayo. Bye everyone. God bless.